Now razors, okay, DE shavers. I'm going to address that first. My recommendation, number one recommendation for a DE shave is a Gillette Super Speed. Doesn't matter what kind of year. Matter of fact, this is a black handled Super Speed. Got like a hair stuck on it for some reason. But black handled Super Speed. This is what I grew up using. But red tip. And a 40 Super Speed. They're fantastic, mild, efficient razors. They're simple to use. You don't have to take them apart. All you do is open the head and pop a blade down in them, close them back up, and shave with them. There are other vintage Gillette razors. The Tech razors. Now I got this on a nice handle. A maggot handle, stainless steel handle, but the Techs are fantastic razors. You could probably pick one up for $8, but they're a 3-piece design, 2-piece and a handle, and you have to take them apart, put the blade on it, and put it back together. Nothing wrong with that. It's not a problem. All the modern razors, almost all the modern razors are like that. Nothing wrong with that. I just prefer the Super Speed because I like the butterfly opening. But if you don't have, or you don't want to go vintage, or you can't find vintage, and by the way, these vintage razors, they've been around for 50, 60 years. They still work, okay, like they always did. They might not be as pretty, but you can't beat the quality of them. None of the modern stuff, until you start looking at $150, $200, comes anywhere near their quality for price. Okay. Back in the day, they were expensive, probably, but now they're dirt cheap and they're well worth it. And if I was starting out on a DE, that's what I would do, is find me an old Gillette of some kind. But now Maggard has their own version of a DE head for like $7, $6. One of their heads and one of their handles for $15 or $20 would be a slamming good razor. I got one, okay. They are fantastic. They shave wonderfully well. That's an option as well. Razor Rock makes some razors similar to that they sell. There are others out there, but those are the main two that I would recommend. So, all right, what about a straight razor? Well, I still recommend vintage if you're good with cleaning it up and know how to hone it and have the gear to hone it. But if you don't, there's a lot of guys selling for $20 or $30, depending on who is doing it, a gold dollar. Now this is 208, which is a little bit more expensive than the 66. But you should be able to get one of these for $30, honed well by a good honer. It's well worth the money. Don't let anybody tell you that gold dollars are junk. Yes, they're cheaply made. Yes, they're Chinese. Yes, the geometry's ugly. Yes, the whole thing. But these can be sharpened, honed, and made to shave like a scalded ape, just as nice as anything else you'll shave with. Don't give a hoot what anybody says about it. This is personal experience. All right. Some people stick their nose up about it, but if you're going to do frugal, you got to learn to let that stuff go. because they're going to do this at you anyway. Let them. If they want to be 12-year-old or 16-year-olds in high school and act like little boys, let them. Stand up and be a man. Do what you want, how you want, and don't you worry about what anybody thinks about it. My 2 cents. Okay, so there's another option. The learning curve is higher, but there's a way to mitigate that, and that is a shavette. Now you can get one of these at Sally's Beauty Supply for cheap, and it uses a DE blade, half of a DE blade. They shave fantastic. What I do is I take the blade that's in it, when I put the blade in it, and I get a stone, a honing stone, and I hit this corner and this corner of the blade so that it's not coming to a sharp point and it doesn't cut the living snot out of me. That makes these much easier to use, and this is an option and well worth considering. They're fantastic. They shave wonderfully well. So, DE blades. What's my recommendation on them? Well, I got one recommendation. There's a lot of good DE blades out there, and they're fairly cheap unless you start getting into things like feathers and other ones that are more expensive. But these right here, the Extra Superior Platinums, the greens, I mean, I think you can get 100 of them for like $11. Okay? Fantastic. They work in every razor that I've got. They're a good, solid, smooth, fairly sharp blade. They're a workhorse that works really well and really consistently. And if I was to recommend one single DE blade for a DE shaver or shavette shaver, it would be those Astra Superior Platinums, the greens. Alright. We've talked about everything else. What about Strops? Well, there's 2 recommendations that I would make. One is the old standby Illinois razor strop. These are still, you can get one of these for $40. A 2-inch, 2.5-inch. This is a 2-inch. It's a good, decent quality starter strop, but there are guys that never leave Illinois razor strop. They've got one they've had 30 years and they're still shaving with it. They're still using it. This is still a viable option in today's time. But my recommendation, actually, I have a different take on straight razor drops. People don't go out and buy a $20 eBay strop. Just don't do it. They're crap. Don't do it. People will say, well, don't buy a really expensive strop as a beginner. Well, I'm kind of in the middle of the road. I think a beginner should have a high quality strop. But you need to find something that doesn't cost $100, $150, $200. Look, we're not, and I don't even want to get into something like a Kanayama or something like that. There's a guy named Tony Miller. He makes handmade strops. He's meticulous and really picky about what he puts out. He makes them by hand, so it takes a few days for him to make them when you order. And sometimes certain models are out of stock because he can't find leather that he approves of, so he waits. All right. But he has a plain vanilla or plain chocolate. It depends on the leather that he's got at the time. This is the Strop. This is a plain vanilla. I've had this a while now. It's a fabulous Strop. There is not a Strop that you're going to pay $200 or more for that's going to be any better than this Strop. And this Strop is like 55 bucks. This is a 2.5. You can get a 3-inch as well. There's no difference in the price. Now, you say, well, $55 is expensive. Not really. When you start looking at Strops and actually see the price of them, $55 is cheap for the quality that this Strop has. Also, you can buy just a leather component with no cloth, which you don't have to have the cloth. You can use just leather. I used just leather for a very long time before I went to leather and cloth. Okay, it'll maintain your razor just fine. For like 35 bucks, the piece of leather that he uses is worth more than $35. Okay, if you looked on the razor market, on the Strop market. Okay, I cannot say enough about the quality of Tony Strops. The Well-Shaved Gentleman Heirloom Razor Company. Google one or both of those. I think Heirloom Razor Company is what he changed his site, and that's the name of it now. But if you Google the Well-Shaved Gentleman, it'll send you to his site. This is my recommendation, truly, for a frugal shaver. You won't find a better Strop at a better price out there anywhere. I don't care where you are. Okay? And if you're a beginner, Strop really slow and concentrate on your, really slow, and concentrate on your technique. Strop slow. Slow. And concentrate on your technique until you get it right. Slow makes fast. That's an old military acronym. Slow is fast. And it's the truth. When you train slow so that when the time comes and you have to move fast, every little tiny movement is perfected, and it happens without your understanding or knowledge. Okay? Same thing with a Strop. Strop slow and careful so you don't nick up your Strop. A small nick, especially along the edges, is not going to hurt it. But I don't recommend cheap Strops. Period. I recommend a low-cost, high-quality Strop. You'll be better for it. This is a lifetime Strop. If you take care of it, and it's well worth the money.